So this film was like, you guys did a sketch in 2012 for College Humor about a time-traveling Bong. And this might be presumptuous, but I assume because you were all so busy that you were smoking a lot more weed then than you are now.
So sad.
Is that the case?
It is true, yeah.
Sad. Now it's for work.
Yeah.
So,
you know, there's a point where you can write it off, and then there's a point where you can't anymore.
I know. In California, you can write it off.
Yeah,
It's, like,
it's
so
1/3 of your
documented,
income in
so well
California
documented.
is tax deductible.
Yeah.
So
I think that's official, yeah.
So how did this, how did this idea come about at any point? Was it in, you just imagine you guys were.
It was, we were, Abby and I were out in LA pitching Broad City in 2012. And I was like just saying this, so I have like I have it ready to go.
Yeah, do it.
So I was under 25, so my car rental was so expensive. So Paul and Lucia let me stay with them for like 2 months.
Yeah.
And I elected to cook and clean.
Yeah, Ilana became kind of like our live-in
Mother-daughter?
mother-daughter maid, essentially. Yeah.
And also kind of like a Easter bunny too, because she would like leave cash in like places just to
We
be
were like, don't worry about it, and we would find like a 20 in the couch, and we'd be like, Ilana, she would like roll up 20s
We had
and
a
put them in
real
our
rhythm
sock drawer.
going though.
No, it was
Yeah.
great. I loved it.
It was
She would
like
make
weird.
quinoa a lot. She made a lot of quinoa.
It like worked so well, it was like strange and then not strange.
This is clearly the short version.
Yeah.
But then, so we were blazed, and we were talking about, I was telling you guys about this professor I had in college who was talking about New York and old New York, and like before the sewer system was invented, it was so fucking disgusting here. Like, we were talking about like, maybe it was like Gangs of New York time or something, and like how if you went back to that time, you would not be able to live, because it would stank so hard. So then that was our first, it was like literally 1 minute.
And then I think we were like, oh, and imagine if you were stoned and experiencing that. It would be so intense. It would be horrible. So time travel would be impossible to do. So I think that was the...
So after that one, did you then you were like, oh, we could actually do things other than smell disgusting things in the past. Let's explore those possibilities.
Well, that's the thing is once we had like made that one-off video, we kind of, like we were together a lot just professionally and socially, and we just kept kind of like having ideas for things that like, oh, that would be a really funny time to explore, once you like kind of have the context of this joke of like traveling through time, but like 2 idiot stoner people, then it just kind of kept accumulating, and then it just got to a point where we were like, let's just see what we can do with this, because it feels like there's a lot of fun stuff we'd love to explore, and it like had a lot of, it took us a long time to get here, but that's...
It was cool. We like couldn't let it go, which was like a sign.
Yeah, what are the ones that you like kicked around that you were like, we got to do it for the sequel or whatever?
I mean, Holocaust stuff. We were like, see you at the movies.
Oh, we wanted to...
we gotta get the money for that one.
We talked about making somebody deaf. And I'm going to say the wrong composer. Who went deaf?
Oh,
Bach? No.
Beethoven.
Yeah, we were like, what if we made Beethoven deaf?
We just land, that's right, we land
sounds
on
perfect.
the organ. He's like, oh, fuck.
We talked about starting the Great Chicago Fires,
Yeah.
like not putting a joint out and oops.
And we like kept it a balance of like, like we didn't want to be like, this is about the butterfly effect, because first of all, that's like a movie already, and then also it's like
A good one.
I mean, barely.
that's a whatever, shitting on the butterfly effect. It's like whatever, but like that's been done, and also it's like, what are we doing? Time travel math? No. And then we could have been like, oh, we cause all these things, but we kind of kept it a well-rounded thing where we like cause a thing.
Yeah.
We we didn't want it to just be all causing shit necessarily.
Right. So how early did you know that you'd be kidnapping Michael Jackson?
I think kind of early, because that was...
No, it was kind of late actually.
it was in this
Well, it was
last
late that
round
it actually happened, but Abby actually pitched it a long time ago. That
Abby
was like
Jacobson, baby.
Abby Jacobson pitched that.
But
that we
had,
save a young Michael Jackson from his troubled childhood.
When you say pitch, does that mean she was like, guys, that'd be funny, or you were like coming up with ideas specifically for this project?
I think it was like, guys, that'd be funny, but also like, here's a pitch for the project. I think
but we made 2 shorts in the meantime, because we really like missed the project, and we were like, we gotta keep going with this. So we made these like 2 shorts, and one of them was like cave and was like folded into what you saw, and then the other one, I'm just gonna say it was Bill and Hill like times Back to the Future. So we land and we break up. Like Marty's parents are Bill and Hill.
We landed in like Yale in 1971, I
Yeah.
think, or 79.
And they encounter a young Bill Clinton who's like, I smell weed, who's token? And so they go to his dorm room and they get him really high. He accidentally forgets that he has his, I think it's like his first date with Hillary.
Yeah.
And so she comes by. And she's not like pissed. She's just like,
She's like, oh, you're not for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, that's
like,
cool,
all right.
not for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we did have that in the outline and the script for a while, and then Comedy Central was like, enough. And we were even gonna like release it on the internet, and it's like, enough.
She's out there.
Enough.
You know, she's
We
out there a
got
little bit.
it.
Yeah. So they do end
We're
up
like,
getting
no.
them back together, kind of, like Marty McFly style, but
But then this was like great to go in the place of that. Something like in America, recent history, a little Back to the Future where we cause shit, but then have to solve it.
And we didn't want to make it Bill and Ted's like, where we meet historical figures all
Right.
the time. But so this was kind of a cool way to play with somebody who was a historical figure, but also his like 8-year-old self, you know? So
Aw. I love that one too, because it's like, I could talk about it for hours. I
Oh,
still
yeah.
am like, would I do what we did?
yeah.
You
Raise
know?
Michael Jackson as your son.
Yeah, and it's like, is the
And then
world-
abandon him?
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
abandoning is like, you pieces of shit. You just, you useless
I think I would have
people.
done the same thing. Yeah, I would have done that.
And with the abandoning as part
Yeah.
of what you would have done.
Yeah.
Just being good.
Kidnap and
love.
abandon. Yeah.
So what is working on some, I mean, you guys work together on Broad City and obviously are close and have been working together for a long time. So what is it different, how is it different to make something like this together than it is to make Broad City?
Well, I think this project differed more so just in process than anything else, just because it happened very quickly. We basically got the green light to write in November, wrote it in December, prepped it in January, shot it in February, and just cut it in March. And
Yeah,
now
we
it's-
shot it in 12 days.
Yeah.
So it was really quick.
Yeah, so more than anything, when we say this a lot, but it was kind of like a 24-hour film festival that wouldn't end.
Yeah.
You know, just
Like
like,
for 3
kept
months, yeah.
going.
And also, it's like there's, we do 4 days per episode on Comedy Central, on Broad City too, Comedy Central. But it was like, it just was like physically more taxing, and the set pieces were, it was just so ambitious in a different way, and like a higher up way, where Broad City is more like on the street or something. But it was, yeah, it was nuts. And also our writing process was very different, where we kind of knew what we wanted. We like laid it out in an outline, the 3 episodes, but then we did a New York writer's room and an LA writer's room. Like people read the whatever it was at that point. Outline, I think, at the point of New York, and scripts when we did it in LA. But we got a lot of pitches, and just hearing what people thought of it. It could have been a lot of things, and I think we tried to make it like this well-rounded thing. Like you were just saying, like also we didn't meet all famous people. We didn't like have to rewrite history or something. We just tried to kind of hit each point that you would expect.
And a miniseries is also hard, or at least it was different for us, because on Broad City, the girls do change incrementally, but we really wanted to try to give our characters some sort of arc over the 3 episodes, but that's not a ton of time. So do you really want to spend a ton of your airtime committed to changing these characters, or do you want to just kind of lay into the jokes and the set pieces of the time travel comedy or whatever? So figuring out kind of like the balance of all of that stuff was also, I think, at least for me, a different muscle.
Yeah, it was a cool like exercise, because it's both TV and then also it's kind of a 70-minute movie. But then also, you guys been watching OJ? We like wanted, we are calling this Comedy Central's OJ. But
It's very highbrow. Yeah.
It's hybrid.
Yeah.
well, is
this is
OJ
prestige.
even-
This is prestige television.
But
This is TV, right? I know this is the Tribeca Film Festival. This is for TV. You guys know that? Yeah. TV.
but it was like 9 acts. It was just different. It was a great exercise.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been different if it were more of a series, because we sort of have the pilot where we set the characters up, and we have the climax where we have them grow. And the fun and games is really just kind of one episode. We really have one episode where they just get to kind of play.
Yeah, and our pilot was like just the first act.
Yeah, it was
Right.
just the first act of the first episode.
Yeah, it was weird.
This is, you were sort of touching on this, but nothing like kills a joke like repeating it 100 billion times. And when you make something like this, you must watch the jokes and say the jokes and read the jokes 100 million times. So how do you know
Well,
that it's still funny? I mean, or whatever, a couple times.
Well, yeah, sometimes we had one take, so sometimes not so many times.
We were like,
Yeah.
that is funny, because it was like the only one. Yeah, it's. I mean, editing anything, you're like, I mean, we were Jessica Brunetto, one of our editors, was. Like, I've never heard ew so much. Also, just like my straight hair, we were just like, ew, ew, ew. I was like jacking off. We were like, oh my God.
Yeah, in the edit, we said ew about ourselves a lot.
But it's hard. You're like in a vacuum, and you're like, am I the god of comedy? I don't fucking know. I don't know what somebody's gonna like.
Yeah.
So, but
There was always like one, like, most jokes had at least one supporter that was like, you can't cut it.
Yeah.
Like, whether it was one of us or one of our producers or our editors, that was just like, nope, don't touch it. And we'd be like, oh, I think that's got to go, nope. And anything that's up there, somebody fought for better or worse.
Did you actually have to like storyboard your hair? Like, did you have to keep track of like when it was?
Honestly, that
supposed to
was like very complicated. Ilana's hair was a big part of production. It's true.
yeah, but the hair person really did. I was like, you got to know.
be? You're like, I just got doused with the puddle of water, so like
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
supposed to.
And
be
like
curling out.
production, like our order of shit was like based around hair changes. I mean, that's what it every.
Like you
shoot
filmed
is.
out of order because you were like, it's straight now. So like we're just
Yeah,
gonna
and like
do
we
these
like
things.
block shot it anyway, so we weren't gonna shoot it chronologically anyway.
Right.
But that's like this genius business
Yeah.
is based on hair changes anyway. So it's like,
But our entire crew really just had so much to juggle every day. They really did an amazing job. And, you know, shooting something for 12 days is like, I think it's 8 time periods is definitely a challenge. And I think they did a
This just
pretty
occurred to
amazing
me, and
job.
maybe this is like an inane detail, but how did you get the bong to look like it looks when it's like been re-blown? Like when it's broken and like gnarly and like you had a glass blower do it.
They-
that
What was
with
the broken
glue.
version?
Yeah.
Yeah, they made a cast of the bong, and then they kind of melted it.
Yes.
And like made a messed
and
up
then they
one.
added the glue around. That
Yeah.
melted
Exactly.
thing. There was also like a like foam version of the bong. There was
There's
like
a few different ones.
It was crazy.
Like so you could just like toss it around
exactly.
without worrying
Yeah.
about
So when
like
we were like
breaking
jumping,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just so you just do whatever you feel with the
So,
bong.
yeah.
Okay. So it didn't. This is sort of for you, but I think it's about some larger funny issues. The issue of comedy, not like funny issues. Which is, you gave an interview to Entertainment Weekly sort of about this and about Broad City, and I'm just going to quote you because I don't know how to paraphrase it. On Broad City, we're like, we dumb. It's so stupid. But people are like, they know what they're doing. It's smart. But we're like, no, no, no. It's so stupid. Time traveling bong is also so stupid. And we're like, that's smart too. But it's not. So
I don't think she has anything else to say. I think that's what.
She said it.
I think
like,
that's
gonna
right.
Just
Yeah.
say the same words. My parents like paid for my education. So
It's
scary.
succinct. It
Sorry,
was
you
good.
guys.
I was, yeah.
But
what
right
did you
though,
mean?
I'm like right. Totally agree with.
I agree with it. Yeah.
I mean, I can say what I think you mean if that will
Well,
help.
like comedy at this point, people are like, comedy is like so important, and it is. It's like always been so important to me. I'm like this. I'm very much a comedy nerd, but now that we're here, it's like this is insane. Like it's, I don't know. I'm gonna say the same shit. It is so stupid. Time traveling bong is so fucking stupid, but I think it is so good, and I love it so much that I'm like, it's smart.
Okay. So because in this quote, I was sort of thinking you were like, people attribute like a lot of intelligence to the thing, not because they're not comfortable just like liking it for it being funny. And I
What do
don't-
you mean?
People are like, they know what they're doing, it's smart. But we're like, no, no, it's so stupid. Like, they're not comfortable being like, it's stupid and great. They're like, it has to be something else. It can't just be funny
yeah,
and
like they're
stupid.
like, I guess if they're like saying it to me, they're like, it's brilliant, and
Yeah.
it's like, is it? But also, I'm like, yeah, we are really smart at this one thing, comedy.
Yeah, well, I think
like,
that's the thing. We try. I feel like we try in Time Traveling Bong and in Broad City to be funny first, and so sometimes there are like these more academic readings of the show, and you're like, wow, you know, like you're surprised sometimes by a review or a critic's piece about it because they, you know, sort of give you a little bit more credit than maybe you deserve. Because in the end, we're just trying to be funny, and I think if we're doing something that says something more, that's great. And there are times that I think when we're satirizing something specifically, we are aiming to have more of a political bent to what we're saying. But I think in the end, we're like, is it funny? That's like, you know,
But
kind
comedy
of the...
at this point is just like the buzziest, like everybody's so into comedy now. Like I feel like when I was a kid, it was like, I particularly like comedy, but now everybody is like so into it, and there's like so much like think pieces and so much conversation about comedy that I feel like it's being held up to this thing.
This guy's writing something right now. I mean, you know.
Right. Real time. But there's like a lot of conversation about it, and that's right, like the symbolism people find or something, we're like always surprised afterwards. I mean, on Broad City, we're like, yeah, meant to do that. Good that you got our Oedipal, biblical, but it's like, you know, it's just.
But I mean, so like with, for example, like the going back to slavery and, you know, like taking the guys to 1963 and then, you know, abandoning them to Vietnam. Like, do you think you're like, oh, I wonder, like that's a think piece. Like, do you know, is that in your consciousness as you make something like that?
Well, I think like especially in the moment where right as they are dropping them off, they say we're white saviors, and then they hug each other. I think we're clearly making a point that like we realize that this is playing into a stereotype that we are choosing to acknowledge. And I think just in general, like, you know, a lot of our intention in making this was to be like, you know, a lot of people romanticize time travel, but if you are a
Keep going.
if you are a woman who is to time travel, or anybody essentially that is not a white man, you're probably not going to have the best time. So for us, it was, you know, important to try to acknowledge that or nod to it the best way we could.
And these characters, Jeff and Cherie, are like useless white people. They're just like so useless, and it's like, that was funny.
Yeah, I think we wanted to put the characters on both the right and the wrong side of history, you know, and have them grow in some way.
But yeah, it's interesting. Like, think pieces or whatever, it's like scary. It's scary for like Google alerts. It's like, it's scary. But this series is like, it's different than Broad City in that way, where we are kind of like, because it's like about history. So it's like no matter, like whatever the choice, you're like saying something.
What do you guys think is so like funny about stoners? Like, why are they so good for what you guys do? Other than that, like
stoners. I don't know. Weed is magical. It's like the essence of something, but in a plant. I don't know. I just love weed.
Well,
what's so funny about stoners? I'm like, they're the best, and they're like full of love. I love them.
Yeah, there is, I think, a little bit of a wide-eyed innocence to these characters that helped us, you know, use them to tell the story. But I don't know, what is funny about stoners?
It justifies some things. It justifies kind of like sincerity and like, you know, being present or something. Like, I don't know, when you like watch Friends, like, they are not stoned. They're like, da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na, or whatever their like fucking intonation is. But it, right?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's Stevie. But like with weed, with like stone characters, you're like with them more, and like it doesn't have to be like some like 90s intonation. You can be like with the characters, and it can be more
I think we relate to them, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, and also we are just stoners.
So we're gonna take some questions from the audience. Yeah, you. With you, yeah. Green shirt, yeah.
Gold, love it.
First up, yeah, she was like, I'm ready.
Good job.
Hey.
Hey.
I have a question and a comment.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, it's good. It's good. It's good. I'll do
Okay,
comment
good.
first.
Because this is for questions.
I ran into Abby and Alana at like the King Cole bar a long time ago, but it was
the
like
what?
the King Cole bar, but like it was an inappropriate at the St. Regis. Anyhow.
Wow.
Yeah. It was like an inappropriate time because I think you guys were doing something. But like I'm a Cancer, so it's been like invested in me to like be like, I'm sorry, wrong time.
Oh,
but
hysterical.
like still
So sweet. No worries.
but like
That's amazing.
yeah. And
Well, I was born in this month, so
hi.
That's
Astrology.
sweet of you,
So,
too. That's sweet. But no worries.
But yeah, so
I don't
thanks
know.
for doing your thing. Okay, now my question. You dabble in the comedy field a lot, per se, lucky here. But would you ever pull like a Sarah Silverman route where you do something like ultra dramatic to show that you are like not just comedy.
What are you
like,
laughing at?
To show that you're like serious.
Yeah,
To
just
show
let,
talented.
let the Academy know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess if something was really good, I would maybe do it.
Yeah, because like.
Well, Bong is not a comedy. I will just say that. This was supposed to be very serious and
right,
highbrow.
Tribeca.
And if you laugh,
Yes.
that's shame on you.
Tribeca,
Okay?
baby.
That's yourself. That's on you.
Yeah, true.
So,
All right, yeah.
if that didn't come across, okay, but this is Tribeca Film Festival,
Yeah.
so
I should
it's not funny. It's like serious. Anyway, sorry, but yes.
No, yeah, and also for you, just like writing and comedy, you feel like you have to sort of, I don't know, with all this pressure and being in Broad City and writing for Broad City, that there's like this essence of comedy. So I don't know if there's ever like this feeling of, hey, I want to try something
Do you guys
a
ever?
little bit.
Well,
I mean, I know that I'm better at drama than comedy, so I'm hoping that I have the chance. But yeah, no, I don't feel the. I don't know.
I would venture to say that in a recent episode of Broad City called Bridges or Burning Bridges,
Called
that there's certainly both Abby and Alana, I think, get to have some
And Paul.
pretty, and
Oh, yeah,
Paul
I
get to have
noticed
some
that.
pretty dramatic
and you
moments.
as director.
Yeah, but but you. But I think that I think they're all, very capable of that, and we're starting to see some of that on Broad City, and I think that,
It's like, we'll see. Comedy's so
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Comedy's so dope. But
Anyone else? Right here, this person. No, yeah, no, yeah. I have all the power right now.
yeah, that's
Hi,
cool.
guys.
Hi.
First of all, I just question and a comment. I have to say, I watched the pegging episode of Broad City with my very mild-mannered white mother, and so thank you for that. But she honestly responded to it
Mild-mannered white
the
mother.
way that like Alana's parents on the show. She had like all these questions and made me pause and like answer all
Cool.
these questions.
She's
about-
cool.
Honest,
Cool.
open-minded.
Yeah, and
Wow.
she said that it was one of the best written episodes of TV she's ever seen. So,
Wow.
yeah, I just had to say that.
Wow.
That was a really
She
special
is
moment
so
for
cool.
us as mother and daughter.
Where's your mom?
Where is she?
You're cool for watching it with
Thank
her.
you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do
I
this
was like,
thing.
you have to watch this show.
I'm gonna try this
And
thing,
she
that's
loves
cool.
it now. So.
Oh,
that's cool.
Wow.
Thank you.
But
Thank
my
you, Mom.
question is for like my best friend, writing partner is here with me, and
Hey.
we're so inspired by you guys. We're sort of just starting out with like film, and do you have any advice for like, we came from theater and we kind of have no idea what we're doing, but you guys are so inspired. So like, if you could go back in time and give yourself advice, like what would the advice be when you were just starting out?
I have some.
Go.
Make things, put them out. I think when when Lucia and I first started working together, I think I was a perfectionist and didn't want to put it out, want to wait, we can do, I think there's a feeling that you can always work on something, you can always rewrite, you can always keep editing something, and it's like the person that puts out one genius thing won't be recognized as much as the person who puts out 1,000 horrible things. It's just like, put it out because it strengthens you and
They
your
won't
muscle.
improve as much.
Yeah.
as the
Yeah,
person
exactly.
who-
Yeah, you've got to just ride the bike and do it.
Quantity becomes quality, and it's like start with your iPhone. It doesn't, and start with iMovie, whatever. Just make shit. You can make it better. Don't wait for somebody to be like, ugh, I would like to direct you. It's like, no, you direct you. You're so much better than that person who thinks they fucking know.
And do what you think is funny, or if it's comedy that you want to do, it's like whatever tickles you. It's not, I
Make shit,
think,
make shit, make shit,
yeah,
make shit.
there's a lot of like, well, that joke has been done, or, I think there's a lot of emulating that goes on, and I think it's like, tickle yourself. If it's funny to you, it's the best. Then
And
it's the
we
best.
come from live performance too, the theater.
Theater.
But so it's hard to that transition into permanence, but it's not even permanent because it's like all the data will be lost one day.
All those zeros and ones,
yeah.
delete,
Y2K,
delete,
baby.
delete. Just
Y2K.
make shit. Make shit, make shit.
It's still coming. It's
Yeah.
Y2K is coming.
It's just there's a
They
lag.
warned us, it's coming.
There's a space-time lag.
Yeah.
That's right.
But you guys got it, and especially if you have each other. Oh my God, finding a partner is the hardest part. You climbed so much of the mountain. Now it's just fun. Literally rolling down.
Yeah.
Just roll down. Just,
And
yeah.
experiment with different methods. I think you'll find the thing that works for you as a partnership in terms of how you write. I think it's try a bunch of different things,
We have one more question. I'm going to go that side. Dude, yeah, you.
Gender equality.
What did you say?
Hey,
Gender
guys.
equality, hey.
So you guys brought something up that I thought that was interesting. That's when you spoke about funny first. And there were a few moments in Time Traveling Bong where you touched on touchy subjects, be that questions of race or going back in time or using the Asian accent. So in comedy now, I mean, especially in today's environment, we have to sort of strike a balance between offense and sort of subverting it to let the audience make that decision. So do you guys feel a need to make an explicit call out when you're touching on touchy subjects, or do you leave that to the audience?
I feel like we did try to call it out because we are white people.
Yeah.
And I think it was like an easier laugh when I was being abused versus, for real, versus
Yeah.
like when like slaves are being taken away, because we don't have that like ancestry. But, you know, we still have opinions about history. And I guess we all can agree that history is like, I mean, what are we saying? It's like mostly shitty. But,
Yeah.
but yeah, I do think like we've talked about like all the points a lot and like think piece culture and PC, and I feel like we did go with what we thought was funniest first.
Yeah, and I think there is a need to be conscientious about being politically correct or making sure that you don't alienate anyone. But I think, at least for me, I think if you operate at the top of your intelligence and try and make the thing actually funny, it's hard to be just base and offensive. Because if you actually are giving it thought and consideration and also trying to make it funny, I think in that way it's like, you know, anything can be material because it's important to satirize things and it's important to, like, you know, make them part of our cultural conversation. But I think it is about making sure that it's well thought out, because I think there's plenty of things that you can make a really bad joke, you know, that doesn't really help further the conversation or change somebody's perspective on something.
We talked about South Park a lot, but it's different because it's animation. And like they're so good at stuff where you're like, oh my God, at the beginning of the episode, and then they like, you know, justify and explain and wrap it up. But being live action, it was scarier. But it was, it's tonally like so different for us, these choices, compared to Broad City. But
I think, yeah, we wanted to address certain things, or at least do things that were taboo and make them a part of the material, but not do it in a way that was like just for shock value. You know, it was kind of to be like, this happened. What? You know, because some of the things that you see, truth, it really is stranger than fiction. And so, especially for this project, I think we were like, well, stabbing a woman's breast is one of the scientific methods they use. You know, so I think in that way, we just wanted to be truthful. Really truthful. Serious. This is not a comedy, okay?
You told you, you know.
I told you. I tell you again.
Well, guys, thank you so much.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.